Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play. Today I'm taking a look at Human Interface, the Cyberpunk board game from PostIndustrial Games. Now this is the Nakamura Tower starter set, and this is the Kickstarter edition, although what we're taking a look at today in the solo and cooperative mode that we're going to be looking at is actually just the board game, just the box game, the main components from that box. And in the second part of this Let's Play, which will be in a few weeks, we'll be taking a look at the Skirmish Mode, which is the head-to-head competitive game. Now, this is a big box model, so you get lots of toys, and then you have multiple ways of playing the game. There's a Skirmish Mode, of which the basic components for that are in here. There is a solo and cooperative mode as well. So you can play either by yourself. The mission structure basically for Nakamura Tower gives you a wonderful narrative basically, and the first two missions that are what we're gonna do today, which will give you an overview of how the game works. And then the third mission, which you'll see in 2 weeks, is sort of the current timeline stuff. It works in a series of flashbacks where Len.Cab, the hacker basically, has been abducted and taken to a black site and is trying to escape and reconnect with her friends. So it's kind of, the missions are designed basically to teach you the two big components of the game, which is the physical world stuff in the first mission and then the cyber warfare stuff in the second mission. And then it all culminates in a big sort of battle royale as Len.Cab tries to escape. And the story missions are really neat in that they have kind of a Silver Tower vibe to them. There are some narrator bits basically where you are prompted to read text, and that's how you learn the story, which we'll be doing today. As you move through and basically grab objectives, you unlock new sections of the story basically to find out what's going on. So we'll take a look at the components right now. I've painted up what you need for the first three missions, which isn't everything in the box. So if you wanted to jump in and get started and you're a bit intimidated by how much stuff does come in here, because you do get a lot of models, you don't need to paint it all. You need to paint about, about half. So I painted all the heroes and I painted about half of each of the groups of the soldiery that come inside, so like the NPC guys, which you can also play as a faction in Skirmish. So you can play as the security forces as a faction, or as the cyber sort of enhanced cyber gang, the Borg squad, if you want, as a faction as well. And there'll be more on that when we talk about the Skirmish Mode. So anyway, let's take a look at the components of the box set and run through the first two missions, basically mission 1 and mission 2, to teach you the basic rules of the game. So let's take a look at it right now. So here is just the box game laid out ready for the first mission. Now I will tell you right now, this game takes some space. This is a big, sprawling dungeon style game with tons of miniatures, of which I've painted up enough for the first three missions. So you can hear I've painted up the Borg squad. This is Morgan, Len.K. We got Bombshell, and then your name is, no, you're not Bombshell. Which one's Bombshell? She's Bombshell. And she is, oh yeah, U-Bolt, and then Tin Can, who is the Uber boy, the big, like, giant, like, heavily cyber-guised super thing. Then we have the Opfor, which is all of the black site people. We got a tank and K1, two of them actually, which are little remote drones, little tank guys there with the miniguns. I have a black site agent, which is the dude who's not got a helmet on, but some goggles. And then I've got 3 painted up Velo Mechanic Chapus, which are basically chappies. And then 4 TAC team officers, which are just like regular Joe Schlub assault rifle guys. Now you get 8 of each of the Opfor. So you have a ton of Opfor models to paint. You don't need that many in the beginning. For the first 3 missions, you really just need this many. You need 2 of the Tankins, 1 of the officers, and then, sorry, 1 of the black site agents, and then 4 officers and 3 Chapus, and you should be fine. Paint up all the Borg squad. You don't use them all initially. You start off just using Len.K, and then the others will sort of become unlocked as they rescue her and go through the storyline. Basically, she starts captured, and she has to reconnect with the rest of the squad as we go through. I will say for board game pieces, the quality was quite good. They required a little bit of cleaning. I mean, they are board game pieces, so that the quality control of them isn't fantastic. They've got lots of flash, and a few bit of bent weapons need to be changed up. Some of the bases, because they are cast on, aren't perfectly flat either. For instance, Tin Cans, you can see here it's a little warped. I didn't bother taking the time to flatten it because it doesn't bother me that much, to be honest with you. But for the most part, weapons were fairly straight. Everything just required some priming. I used standard, just like rattle can, Rust-Oleum primer, and then painted them up. Put some grit in the bases and got ready to rock and roll. So I can enhance my Cyberpunk collection. And that's it. That's the Star Set miniatures. You get tons of board tiles. You also get additional character dashboards. and doors, standees for the doors. You get cyber decks for both the Borg squad and the baddies, the Black Site operatives. And you can see here, these are the dashboards, and they're assembled. They do require a little bit of assembly. All your character cards slide into them. They have an injured state. So once they take enough hit points and damage, they go to injured. These little trackers here to track their bonuses. So if a stat is 5, it has 0 bonus. If it's below 5, it's -1 for each one below 5. So Morgan, for instance, is a bit slow, so he's -1 to dodges and stuff. But for each point above 5, you get a bonus. So he's +1 to physical attacks, +1 to mental stuff. She's +1 to physical attacks and +1 to mental stuff. My hacker's +2 to mental stuff, and then 5 across the board, and vice versa over here too. So you track your damage on one side. He got twisted a little bit when I moved him around. So he's got 6 hit points. This is for Cyber Shock. Now Cyber Shock is the fact that you're Major Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell, right? You're way enhanced, and bits of you are just robotic. You start with 2 Cyber Shock points for each piece of weaponry or cyber gear that you're armed with. So for most of these folks, they're starting at 2. Lendok starting at 0 because both hers are disabled in the first mission because she's been captured. And then, of course, Morgan over here starts with 3 because he's got a Kagoma Cyber Body Torso, Kagoma Cyber Arms, and then a baseball bat. And the more your Cyber Shock goes up, which can happen as like hacking happens, your current like tactical net gets like clogged up with viruses and stuff, you can start to shut down. If you get too far, if your Cyber Shock ever gets to 8, you can become taken over by the AI and you become a bad guy model. Basically, they hack your brain, you get ghost hacked, and you turn into a bad guy. Got some quick reference cards for the terminals. So there's a Terminal 4 and Terminal 3 in the first mission. Those are just reference cards for the defense level and stuff. You get for the heroes, basically, or sorry, the baddies, the Black Site dudes, you get the same exact style card and a point value for them too for using them in Skirmish. You don't have to put them on dashboards when they are being used in solo and co-op mode because they don't have really very versatile stats. They've got 1 hit point instead of 4 and 1 hit point instead of 5. The secondary stats are there for if you want to use them as a faction when playing Skirmish, which is like the head-to-head mode. Basically, you can play them as a team, and you have like full character stats for them as well. So you don't really have to worry about putting them on dashboards when you're just playing them in a cooperative and like dungeon crawl sort of version, because for the most part they have reduced stats, and they're not allowed to use any of their special abilities because they don't earn adrenaline. Adrenaline is this deck here. You earn adrenaline from fighting, performing certain actions, and basically the more adrenaline you have, the more of your abilities you can unlock. They're the secondary abilities in your card here. So for the Can, for instance, he can spend 4 adrenaline for come and get some. He can make 2 ranged attack actions per turn. The second one's at -2 to hit because he basically just goes crazy with this giant like bolt launcher. And then you have the rest of your stuff here. So this is your physical stat. That's your mental stat. He's not very smart. That's your speed stat. He's not very fast. How many wounds you can take before you flip to your damage side. And then over here is your hit location. So when you get hit by something, that's how much armor you have in each location. And the number is the result of your total flip, basically, for the attack. So like it uses kind of a Malifaux opposed card flip system. There's no dice in the game. And when you get hit, the higher the number that you got hit with, basically, the like more deadly the location potentially. There's also advanced rules for taking damage. So like if you hit in the head and you take at least 4 points of damage, your neurochips, which are basically your experience in this game, they're the little things that'll slot in here, can get damaged and destroyed because like you take too much damage. And the same with your arms and stuff too. You can have your arms blown off. Any cyber gear attached to that location can be destroyed if you take a certain amount of damage. So like you can get your limbs blown off. Dynamic results basically. And like I said, when you take enough damage, so he takes 7 hit points in damage, he flips and his abilities change basically. Suppressive fire becomes easier to proc with only 3 adrenaline points, and when you do a adrenaline ability, it drains all of your adrenaline that you've built up basically, and you go back to 0, like you reset. So you want to kind of use it and regain it because you get too much otherwise. And then you have a new stat line. So like his mental power goes way down, his physical power goes way down, his speed goes way down, and he only has 4 remaining wounds. A little dash here is your system resistance, which is your resistance to like hacking programs and stuff. You notice the hackers have an actual number and a higher number, and the ones who are like fighters and stuff tend not to. I get a huge amount of tokens, so these are your bonus and negative tokens for when you're putting your character dashboards together, just to have a quick reference. You have your neurochips, and these are kind of like your experience almost. You earn neurochips by doing stuff in the campaign. You can also buy them if you want when you're playing in the the skirmish version, and they're basically common, military grade, or black market, and that will kind of determine how good they are. These are for doing different entrances and exits. You can letter code them. System resources, which you generate to use your cyber tax and stuff like that. Letters for if people drop gear. You can associate letters in the tail basically for picking up dropped gear. You have your alarm tokens, which generally, the alarm tokens are used to dictate where the opposing force goes. So where they walk to, they go towards the nearest alarm token when they spawn. You have spawn points for where they spawn. Number tokens for tracking effects on the cyber dashboard and stuff. Locked and unlocked tokens for the doors. Terminal tokens for generic terminals, and then also numbered terminals, and then these are cyber warfare stats over here. You also have activated and reactive. So activated means that you are done, you haven't done anything yet. Reactivated means you haven't activated yet, but you've done a reactive action, like you've dodged or something like that, and it means you have less actions during your active turn. And then finally, you've got some mines / objectives for gameplay like terms, basically. In some missions you have to collect objectives, and others there's mines on the table, and it gives you a dual-sided chip. In addition to all that extra stuff, you get tactical response cards for generating your own missions, basically standard missions, or sort of like a one-off game mission, and those are basically to determine what the opposing force is doing while you're trying to accomplish your mission. So it gives you like a basic AI for all of the spawned like villains and monsters when they're trying to stop you. So let's dive into mission 01. So this is real simple. So Len.Ka has been captured and is being held in the black site. She's in the elevator here with the black site agent. There's also a tank in here patrolling the area, and the black site agent is escorting her through here down into these like pods, I guess, to be like put in storage or interrogated or whatever. So this first mission is just designed to teach us the basic movement rules of the real space stuff. Now, in terms of like the actual like flipping of gameplay mechanics, most of the cyber warfare stuff happens first, but it won't be used in this mission. Phase 1, virus and worm infection and cybershock tests. So if there's any viruses or worms here on the tactical net, then they would basically act, and I would have to take a cybershock test if there are any. We don't have any, so no cybershock tests for us. Then check system resources. Now, system resources are kind of like your mana in Magic. They're what you're going to get dealt, basically, in order to use hacking programs. Now, we're not going to have to worry about that in this mission, but typically during this phase, we would generate 1 for each character we have on the table, so I get 1, plus their intelligence bonus, so Len.Ka gets 2 more for 3. You always nominate a lead hacker for your group. In this case, I only have 1 hacker, which is Len.Ka. Now, if her cyber gear was active, she also has a NetSec 1 cyber deck. It gives her +2 system resources each round. So it's a bonus, basically. The basic tactical defense strength becomes 3. It also ups your defense strength for your tactical network when enemy stuff attacks it. But because it's deactivated, I'm not going to get those bonuses. And just for reference, we'll generate system resources this turn. Then we determine initiative. It doesn't matter in this one because we're not playing competitively. We're playing solo and well, solo mode, but also the cooperative version. We'd all have a character. But in a skirmish game, which we'll get to when we go through the skirmish way of playing the game, you could bid system resources to try and go first. So you'd blank bid basically using tokens, and then the person that's the bid higher basically would get to go first. If you tie, you'll each flip a can-do deck card, and whoever would go highest basically would go first. So this is kind of like the Fate deck in Malifaux, and when we get to actually flipping it, I'll show you. But basically, you're each going to flip a card. If it's unopposed against a target number, if it's opposed, then you'd both flip 1 and add your relevant stats to see who wins. There's the cyber warfare. So whoever had the initiative in solo co-op mode, doesn't matter who has the initiative because we're not playing head-to-head. We would flip 5. We'd refill our hand, basically. If there was any cards active in the tactical network, we'd pay to upkeep them, basically, from our system resources now, and then we could play and install new programs, too. So you have a deck, basically assigned to your squads. This is the Borg squad deck. This is the Black Site deck. And this is for the Opfor. We never use this as players unless you're playing in skirmish mode. This would become your deck, basically. You can see it is all faction keyed. So like the Black Site agent has like a little faction there, or a little faction like decal. So is the tank and all these other characters, and the Borg squad have their own little faction decal. All of the upgrade characters, for the most part, that come in the Kickstarter edition also have factions. A lot of them are Borg Squad, a lot of them are Black Site, but there are some new factions too, which you can mix and match if you're doing like a mercenary company. So we're not doing any cyber warfare right now because, of course, her net deck is turned off and she's all drugged and doped up. So we go to the real world phase. So in the real world phase, everyone gets 2 AP to take actions. Sometimes you can have bonuses or negatives this based on like your gear and your neurochips and stuff. But each character will do one of the following, or any number of the following actions. You can move, you can do a range attack, close combat attack, special action, or use some gear. Generally, each action costs an action point. Some special actions would require extra ones or don't require any. So opening a door is an action that doesn't require any points. But you do have to end an action before you start an action. So for instance, it's no AP to open a door, but you can't open it. You can't suspend your current action to do a new action. So even though I have 5 movement points on Len.Ka, which I'm going to use right now, as her first action, you can see here her movement is speed 5. So you go from square to square, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to enter that objective point. Now I can't use a free action to open a door yet until I start my next action. But the mission prompts me right now because I've touched the objective point and I have to move towards the closest objective point in the table during every move. I'm going to immediately read the callout, basically. In Mission 1-1, the first callout is first objective token. So it's not as clean anymore. Those dumbasses added stains. Or were they here all along? Can't concentrate, and it all blends together. Only a tiny detail can save my consciousness. Who knows? Maybe I can still... I know I can. For sure you can. Len.Ka, 8 minutes earlier. We basically skip backwards in time in our own heads. Comfortable? New armchairs brought in as per your request. The lighting has also been altered. I hear blue has a soothing effect, and we wouldn't want to get off on the wrong foot, would we? Splendid. I can tell by your look that you've had enough small talk, so let's get down to business. You should realize the situation you're in. You have a tremendous talent, Len.Ka. I hope you're not being presumptuous by telling you that. But your frankly puzzling code of conduct hinders both you and we. Look at it from a broader perspective. And so now we just like fade out. The character's completed the first objective. The game resumes. After the characters reach the second one, we read subsection 2. So now I'm resuming my actions. I'm using a free action to open a door. When you do that, you move it perpendicular to a wall. Now all doors can be opened freely until the first terminal is activated, then they all lock. And you have to hack terminals to keep opening them. And they're considered friendly until then. So she'll continue moving, just to move to the next one. So she's going to go, that was a free action, 1, 2, 3, 4, and she'll stop here. As Len.Ka is the only character I have on the table, we'll skip to the next phase of the real world phase. And that's the Opfor operations. So just like the regular characters that I'm controlling, the Opfor will now go either on a program dictated by the mission, in this case, or using the tactical response cards. I don't have to worry about the tactical response cards because all of the narrative missions, for the most part, in the beginning will have a program for the characters. In this case, the black side operative will move towards the nearest Len.Ka. He has a movement of speed 4, so he's gonna move 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can move diagonally, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4. End up next door. He's escorting her. So now drones and like Opfor guys can all open doors just like we can, and typically they can open locked doors too, because they're considered to have all the security codes. So now we activate the Tankin. The Tankin's program for this mission is going to move towards the nearest alarm counter. There's 2. There's one down here and one down here. When it reaches one, it starts moving back towards the other one. It's basically patrolling these halls. So it has a speed of 4. It'll move 1. It'll open. Whoop. And then it'll move 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll end the first turn. So in the cleanup phase, all the doors close again. Whoop. Behind us. And go back to blocking line of sight. And we would also do any of the like effects like our neurochips or any programs that say they activate during the cleanup phase. There's none right now, so we're gonna go back to the next round. Back to the start, we'll generate resources again, back to 3, check for viruses and cybershock, don't have any cybershock happening. And then determine initiative, don't have to. Back to cyber warfare, we're not doing that in this mission. Back to the real world. So Len.Ka has to use a free action to open this. So it opens, and then her first action, she has to move towards the nearest objective. So 1, and then we read the call out. The narrator reads, I recognize this metal coil. I saw it once, but where? What's this humming in my head? The pain. Where'd that iron sculpture go? What's going on? Focus, Len.Ka, focus! And then going back to 5 minutes earlier. You still fail to see the benefits of this contract. You know what? You're right. Let's forgo the signature. We have trust in you. Now all you need to do is have trust in us. No formalities, no official contracts. Should you find the work displeasing, you can take your toys away along with your mighty swollen bank account and go play somewhere else. What do you say? Basically, we're trying to be bribed right now by some kind of memory loop. I've completed the second objective. The game resumes normally after the characters reach the third objective token. Read subsection 3. So I have my second action still. I used a free one to open the door. First one to move. I'm gonna move again. And go 1, 2, 3, and stop here. Third objective token. Who said that? Who said that? Blue lights, armchairs? I was there. That's where it started from. I'm being looped. I'm in a damn simulation. They want something. They'll retry this conversation over and over again. Oh, okay, focus. Len.Ka, what do we do now? Now it's 2 minutes earlier in my head. We don't expect miracles. We won't have you spend countless hours behind a desk. Haha, bring in results. We can let you work remotely. I hear you already got part of the code we're after. It doesn't need to be complete, so as long as it satisfies our needs, we'll pay big money for it. Just tell us where it is. The characters completed the 3rd objective. The game resumes normally. After the characters reach the 4th one, read subsection 4. So, we've finished the real world phase. We're on to the Opfor Phase. Again, starting with the black site operative, he's going to move twice and go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And second action, he'll open the door freely and then move 1. Because he's trying to stay as close to her as he can. Second's going to go and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn around and go 1, 2, 3, 4 back as it starts to patrol loop down to this one. Cleanup phase, everything closes again, and we're back to the start of the next round. So virus, worm infection, cybertech tests, nothing on the tactical network right now because I'm currently being looped basically and walked in like a semi-comatose state over these pods. Check system resources, once again I'll generate 3, 2 for my brain, and 1 for just having a character on the table. And then initiative, not relevant. Cyber warfare, not relevant. Back to the real world. So, Lendak's going to open a door for free, because she can, and she'll move 1 onto that one and read the next call it. Assaulting the officer. In a fit spurred by feverish attempts to crack the nagging secret, Lendak assaults the officer assigned to escort. Her brain goes into overdrive as though the preceding events were just a bad dream, followed by a good night's rest. Out of the corner of her eye, she spots a pass guard. Firstly, she falls to one knee, hands on the floor, faking nausea. The impassive guard turns around, grumbling to himself, and as he reaches out to help the girl, she momentarily rises up and delivers a 2-fisted blow to his head. He's momentarily stunned, but saves himself and fights back. Lendak is very motivated, as this might be her only chance, and they fight with their bare hands. Finally, Lendak lands a knockout blow, and driven by the adrenaline coursing through her, she takes the pass card from around his neck and swipes in the lock on the nearby door. Barehanded close combat. Neither of us are armed right now. With like close combat weapons. So this is an opposed test, and what that means is we'll use the physical stat of each model plus any bonuses. So no bonuses here because Lendak doesn't have because the black site agent doesn't have any bonuses in close combat. He's basically disarmed right now and kind of half stunned. He has 1 hit point because he's being used in a solo co-op mission, and we're gonna flip a can-do card. So the can-do deck comes into play here. Lendak has a physical of 5. The bonus for me is that he'll flip to crippled immediately because I did get that sucker punch off on him, which means his bonus actually is only 3. That was called out right here. Lendak may spend any adrenaline cards collected. We don't have any right now. After the fight's finished, both models are moved to the space behind door number 2, and the narrator reads the next section. So we have basically a almost uneven fight here. He's only going to add 3 to this flip, and I'm going to add 5. So for me, 5 plus 9 is 14. For him, 7 plus 3 is 10. So I land the hit, and I can also, there's additional effects here. If I wanted to, I could discard this card and draw a new one. Discard this card and draw an adrenaline card, draw another card. You must accept the result of the second card. So right now I'm winning by a whole lot. If I wanted to, I could discard this to draw some adrenaline, but I think we're just going to kill this guy instead, because the next card might not be high enough to kill him. He did flip a fairly high card. If it was like a 2 or a 3, I'd probably risk it, but not in this case. So I'll do a point of damage to him. Technically, I landed in the 9, so the 9 is going to be the chest, where he's armor 5. So because I hit him in the chest, we'll compare the damage of my weapon, which in this case is my physical stat minus 2 to a minimum of 4, what's the barehanded attack, against his armor in the chest, which is 5. It was the one place I couldn't hit him. So I guess I do have to reflip now. I'm going to discard this card. So I discard it and put it in the discard pile. And then draw an adrenaline card. So I earn 3 adrenaline points and add 4 system resources to your pool. If hacking this would be awesome. I have to hope this next card, because I've discarded this one, is actually a place where I can kill this guy. So I need to flip anything, actually basically I have to flip a 6 or a 10. Because if I don't flip a 6, I don't beat the total, I don't win the fight, because he's currently at a 10, I need to get an 11. And if I flip a 10, then I'm at a 15 and I'll kill him. So I need a 6 or a 10. There we go, I got a 6. So I can accept it or treat the result as 3 and gain 4 system resources. I think I'm just going to accept it and we'll knock this guy out. Alright, so now that we've done this, after the fight's finished, both models are moved behind the space behind door number 2. So door number 2 is over here, and we go over to here. I drag his corpse into this room. Change of clothes. The fight ends as quickly as it began. The day's guard was utterly staggered by the speed and movement displayed by the dainty hacker. He had his lights knocked out before he hit the floor. Len.Ka dragged the body into the nearby room where she stripped off his uniform and put it on. Now she had to pick the right destination. The army was the first of the two viable options. It would provide better gear to fight off the viruses in this simulation. The second centered on locating data on this next floor, which would enable her to crack the system and quit this place. Either option is tempting, but time is precious. Should the interrogators find out that the virtual reality is upset by this petite prisoner, they'll set out to bring it back into balance. Put her miniature back in the box and play as the Black Site agent. The player is granted access to door number 2 and may hack doors number 3 and 4. And I gain his Nakamura Hotoke handgun. So I get this handgun and I play as that miniature. Whoop. Unwounded Black Site agent card, then overlays her card, and she's ready to go have some fight. I realize this whole thing is a simulation. I'm basically on a holodeck. I gotta fight my way out of here and try and not die so I can crack this whatever simulation is and get home. So that ends the real world phase. Whoa, this flips back over. Actually, sorry, we have one more thing to do. This fella needs to make his Opfor Phase and go 1, 2, 3. Door opens, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Clean up, this closes, and I gotta figure out what I wanna do. So the drone won't recognize me unless it gets into an adjacent space. I can run away from it. And what that means is I'll have one turn of basically moving on its continuing program until it goes to base to like one base away, basically 1 square away, at which point it becomes normal and starts to react to me and hunt me down. So I gotta hack this thing, get out of here. All right, so now we're actually gonna start using some cyber warfare stuff because we've unlocked basically our potential to hack. Now we don't get our normal starting equipment, we just have this Nakamura Hotoke pistol, but we can use hacking programs now and some cyber warfare stuff. So we're going to generate system resources. Again, there's nothing installed in the tactical network. So I'm going to gain 3 because Len.Ka has an intelligence of +2 and I have 1 miniature on the board. So I have 3 system resources, and now I have to deal myself a hand of cards. Now I could try and hack this guy remotely, or I can build up my deck of cards here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 5 cards because I build up my hand. I got a Logan, a Apache. This is just a dead card that you can use to bluff with. Babylon, or Tomb Master. So now all these are color-coded basically. The yellow ones are defensive, the red ones are offensive, and these are bluffs. Pretty happy with these offensive ones. They cost 3 to install, so I could install this one and gain a strength of 4. This one's 4 to install, so unfortunately I don't have the juice to do that. But I do have some adrenaline I can use. Better than ever. I can add 4 system resources to my pool by getting rid of this, discarding it. It means I can do a big hacking attack. Now if I want to, I could remotely hack a terminal, but I'll be at a -3 penalty, or I can wait for this drone to move away at the end of the round, hide behind the door, and hopefully I have a turn to actually try and hack this thing. Maybe I can even build up my hand some more. So I'm going to skip doing any cyber warfare right now. We're just going to move. So free action, open the door. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I think my second one, if it's not base to base with me, it's going to go towards this over here. So I'm going to do the free action, open the door again, and then go 1, 2, and move on to the square with the terminal. Opfor Phase, doesn't know it's me. Free action, open the door. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and sit over here. Clean up, everything goes away. I got 3 system resources in the bank. So we're into the new cyber warfare phase. Again, no viruses or worms, so no cybershock test, no initiative. We're going to go to the resource phase. So I'm going to discard my 3, gain 3 back, 1 plus my 2 for intelligence, and I'll dump this adrenaline card. That's going to be 4 extra system resources, which took me to 7. Now I can discard. I'm going to discard my dummy cards and my defensive cards here, because all I want to do is try and bust this terminal open. I'm going to draw 3 more cards and see what I get. Hopefully more offensive programs. And I got a sniffer, which lets me see somebody's stuff. And oh, look at all these offensive programs. I got Gingerhead, Babylon, Backdoor, and Logan. So I'm the character with the initiative here because we're playing solo mode. I'm going to get to basically take the first action. And if there was multiple people, whoever had the initiative would take the first action during a cyber warfare attack. Now you can attack the enemy's cyber network, which I'm not doing here because there is no enemy, it's just me. And they can unfortunately also attack mine. And if this goes badly, any offensive programs in the flip for the terminal here will automatically get installed into my network and things will start to go bad. Now there's a card for every terminal here. You can see this is 3, which I'm hacking. It has defense level 2. So it's going to flip 2 cards. face down, because this is unopposed, to try and basically attack me. I have all these attack actions, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend actually 2 of my resources at a 7, and go down to 5 left to play Sniffer. Its install program is X equal number of cards I want to see. So I'm going to try and look at the hand before I go in. And uh-oh, it's got Carbon Bastion and Code Yellow. Okay, so this is going to install, it's a worm, it's going to install into my network if I lose this. And Carbon Bastion is going to add a 6 to the flip here when I'm trying to attack it. That's its defense level. And this program weakens any program's attack strength by 1. That was worth knowing. So now I get to choose programs to install. Again, this would be face down if I wasn't playing solo, if we're playing against another player. But I can only install programs up to the amount of cash I have. So I could do Logan and Gingerhead, because I've got install 3 and 2 for a total of 5. And that would give me an attack strength of 6. Or I could do basically just any of these. The only problem is that it doesn't really gain much. Oh, I could do this one then. So this is +1 versus ice, deactivate enemy cyber gear of my choice, and then +1 terminal versus any terminal. So I definitely want to do Gingerhead, because this becomes strength 3 basically against terminals, but I get +3 alarm tokens. I set off an alarm when this happens. And then Logan's +1 versus Tactical Network Ice. I don't have any there. And then deactivate 1 enemy cyber gear of your choice for 1 turn. I don't have any enemies on the table to do that with. I think we're going to buy these 2, spend all of my system resources, and I'll gain a total attack strength of 6, basically, which will balance out the -1 that I'm suffering for Carbon Bastion. And then we both make a can-do flip. So defensive strength 6 against my total of 6 would be 7. But it's going to be -1 from this as well. So basically we're just flipping to see who gets higher. So I get a 7 and no chance to flip it again. 2, 9. So I've lost this, which means Carbon Bastion, sorry, actually Code Yellow gets installed into my tactical network. That's bad. And the total warfare basically against me was 14 to my 13. Also, the terminal wins any ties. I've not successfully hacked it, and all this goes into this card pile, except for that one that got installed over here. It deactivates 1 cyber gear of my opponent's choice. These cards go into the appropriate discard pools, and there's no Opfor hackers, so that ends the Cyber Warfare phase, back to the real world phase. Well, I also gained 3 alarm tokens there. It kind of means no matter what, this guy's coming towards me. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but he won't become active yet. He's going to land on that and then move again. Well, I think what we have to do is we have to go hide next to the other consoles. So during the real world phase, I'm going to move and go 1, 2, 3 and go sit on this console over here. Then it's the second of the alarm phase, or sorry, the Opfor phases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 opens the door. Door closes. New phase. So I go back up to 3 here. I don't have my awesome adrenaline card anymore for extra resources. So I don't know how I'm going to pay for all this. Now, ironically, I should have actually had 1, 2, 3, 4 more adrenaline cards. Because every time I secured one of the objectives, I'd draw an adrenaline card, which I'd forgotten about during the walk down here. But I discarded all of them to gain those bits anyway, which means that it's irrelevant how many I would have had because I used it to get system resources. All right, well, let's try and do some hacking. Well, it started to run an IF test for Cybershock now because I have a enemy virus in the tactical network, which is bad. So what happens when you do that is you have to flip a card and try and get equal to or under your modified intelligence stat, which is 7. If I flip higher, my Cybershock goes up by 1. Once again, if it goes to 8, I get controlled. So let's flip a can-do card and see what we get. Once again, I should notice or mention that my current Cybershock level is 0 because I have no gear active. Actually, it goes to 1 because I have that pistol now. So let's flip and see what we get. We get a 7, exactly equal to my intelligence, so my Cybershock doesn't go up. I can purge these by spending stuff during the cyber phase, or cyber warfare phase, but I'm not going to because I really need to hack this terminal and get out of here. So once again, I'll gain my resources. I'm going to gain 3, 1 plus the 2 for my intelligence bonus, and let's see what we can do. All right, we got to drop to, we've got 2 cards right now. Ooh, we got a booster. If I could afford it, it'd be awesome, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, good. We got a basic hacking program there, Nitro Man. And then Honeypot. So we got a defensive program here too. All right, so here's what we're going to play. We're going to play the 2 cards, because we're going to try and hack again against this terminal, and that's what they are. Now, I don't have a sniffer this time, so I don't know what they are. And then I'm going to play Nitro Man, because it's all I can afford. And installs for 2, which takes me to 1, and I'll spend my last one as an additional boost. I can spend up to 2 system resources just to boost the total number. So I'll spend 3 total, which will give me a total attack strength of 3 goes to 4, and if any defensive programs are flipped here, I get +1 on my strength too. So I flip it's got a defensive program with a strength of 7, and then Pong, which is strength of 4. So I don't have to worry about that unless I lose. And now we gotta flip our can-do card. So for me, I flip a 8 with no bonuses. So I've got 8, 11, 12 because the one that I played. I can't discard any because I don't have any left. And they flip a 2. All right, sweet. It can't pay adrenaline points to draw extra cards, so it's just gonna accept the result. So it's 2 plus 7 is 9 versus my 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've successfully hacked Terminal 4. The mission is successfully completed. Go to mission 2.0. So that's it. I've hacked it. The whole thing goes and holodecks out, and I escape this level of simulation. All right, so with mission 1 done, we're going to skip to mission 2, which is actually 3 weeks earlier. We're going to flash back now as the holographic simulation collapses to what landed Len.ca in this, and it's a heist. So I'm going to set up the table again. You'll see the new level, and we'll get this underway. All right, and so here we are set up for mission 2. And it's 3 weeks earlier. This is Len.ca speaking. It's now 11 p.m. August 23rd, and I'm carrying out the final preparatory test for the operation. The terminal allowed me to link up with the banking system. I can then connect to the encrypted virus, which should have done its job in the meantime. A quick transfer of no more than 20 seconds long, and the work ends on the other side of the continent with a tall one in hand, and the bartender will pour me, 3 hours? What could go wrong? Generally speaking, all of it, but 2 particular developments strike me as the most likely. The first assumes the system detects my intrusion and shuts down the entire network along with the potential backdoors. I then unplug the module and switch to emergency mode. That should make me untraceable. The second assumes the use of broadly defined violence by the patient. There are 2 viable entry points in the building. The ground is out, too obvious and noisy. Also, during a contingency, the place is rigged with mines. It's the same at the top, actually, but it's a better approach, even considering. Wait a second, I can hear funny sounds. I have to check it out. Len.ca out. Resuming the recording, son of a 3 floors down, they're throwing a banquet. Guests are coming in and flying in every couple minutes. This means everything has changed, and every charge is to be detonated by hand. Am I forgetting something? Oh, the drone! Lucky for me, the tower cheapened out, and an old drone models manufactured by Nakamura. Dead easy to crack. Only that it generates another issue. I can't simply turn it off or it's going to be the governor's last party. We don't invest in people to simply off them. It must be dealt with precision and quiet, so I'll take it over if need be. Too bad I'm not alone in this, and over this weapon, I've got no reign. I'm talking about my private retinue. They're idling behind a locked door as I speak. In their eyes blaze desire to blast on a noise blast the noise down below. That's it for now. I'll stop recording and initiate the operation. Should I fail, this will be my last you hear of me. Len.ca. They've tracked us down, the bastards! I can't sever the connection. Cause unknown. Someone's coming. So Len.ca is hanging out here in this room. Connected to this terminal. She can't move or do any other action than hack the terminal during the cyber warfare phase. Over here we have U-Bolt and Bombshell, and they are basically protecting her while she's hacking. Shouldn't anything go wrong. Now, they will also act as pilots to any of the Nakamura drones that she decides to activate. This floor here is actually where all of the baddies are basically pouring in, and the Borg squad team is attempting to stop them. Hold it as long as possible against the Opfor. The Opfor is just going to keep spawning in potentially. This is a sort of like secondary mission where we're going to focus primarily on hacking, and we're going to introduce some new models too, which are going to be these guys, these little dronies. Now, Len.ca can activate the terminal to spawn a drone at the Opfor point, and the goal here is to try and stop these two. We have the black site officer, as well as a tactical officer, so a black site agent and a tactical officer. They're trying to get to this elevator, which will take them and summon reinforcements to then attack the Borg squad guys in this room. So we're holding off wave after wave of these two as long as we can. Len.ca can also attack not just the terminal, but also these 2 mines on the table here. If they are attacked, they have a network strength of 1, so they flip 1 defensive card. Plus a can-do card to try and see if they stop her hacking attempts. If she successfully hacks them, they can be detonated. So they can be used to, they're basically supposed to defend this building, but they can be used to try and kill these guys that come through too. So everyone here will activate during the real world phase. U-Bolt and Bombshell won't actually activate unless a Tankin gets spawned by hacking the terminal, in which case the players who would play them if this was a co-op game would actually be piloting the Tankins. And the Tankins will operate during the real world phase, of course the Opfor during the Opfor phase. First round, there's no viruses in the tactical nets, so the worm infection, there's no cyberstock tests to do. Check some system resources. So now I've got 3, so that means 1, 2, 3 from the number of players on the board, plus intelligence bonuses. N.Ka and U-Bolt also have a bonus for their mind stats, and that's going to give us an extra 3 on top of that. Now, she also actually has her net deck operational, which will give her 2 more. So 8 total resource points. And then as she is the primary hacker, she will, of course, be hacking during the cyber warfare phase. To start off with, we need to attempt to summon a tank in here. So she's going to attack the terminal. The terminal gets a single card, which I don't get to see, plus a can-do flip. And I have to draw my hand here to see what my abilities and attack cards are going to be for this round. And we've got, ooh, sweet, so we got some bonuses here. We've got plus 2 program strength. We have Nitro Man, which can allow us to attack. And we've also got some defensive cards. And we have another bonus, so plus 3 any program strength. And running programs cost 1 less. That's pretty cool too. So I think what we're going to do, we have tons of system resources to play with here, is we're going to spend 6 to throw these all together. And that's going to give us 3, 4, 5... 8 total to our attack strength, because we'll boost Nitro Man with all these upgrade programs. It'll cost us 6 system resources. We'll then spend 2 additional ones just to get bonuses. Actually, no, we'll save these actually, because we could install this guy in the tactical network later on. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna hold off with 6 for paying for these, and we're at plus 8. And then we got a can-do flip on top of that, which is 4, so that's gonna be 12. These folks got themselves no defensive, so no defensive program. They just get a can-do flip of 3, and that's going to fail. So we successfully hack the terminal and spawn a tank in. Right there. So these are our last 2 system resources, then to install Vector into the tactical network. And that's a friendly program, which we'll have to pay 1 to keep running during each turn. But it adds plus 3 strength to any programs, and the running program costs 1 less. Hacking better later on. Warfare done. Let's get on to the real world and start, I guess, our dash to freedom. So U-Bolt can activate the Tankin. The Tankin has a movement of 4, a speed of 4 rather, physical 4, and it has 4 damage because it's a character right now, not an NPC. So let's see what we can do. So it's movement 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 more we can do. I'm tempted to just stay back, though. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to go 1, 2, 3 back in that corner, so that there's no line of sight to us when these jabronis come out. Phase over. It's time for the Opfor to activate, so it's going to be either a move or a move-shoot, so it's probably going to be a move here. And we'll start with the Black Site Officer. He gets to move speed 4. So 1, 2, 3, free action open this. And then he's got 4 more. He's going to head, their objective is the elevator, so move again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tactical officer is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and get to there. Cleanup phase, this all closes down. And I think it's time to blow this mine. There's no worms in the tactical net. Let's generate some tactical resources again. So I should go up to 8 once more. We're going to have to spend 1 to continue to run the Vector. Fill my hand, so I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 more. I need to get at least 1 TAC program here. Actually, I might as well have discarded these before I refill my hand, because I'm not defending against anything right now. There's nobody trying to hack me. I'm just trying to draw attack programs, because I need to get at least 1 in here to do this. Oh god, no! Yeah, oh, Jesus. Got close to none. Well, cleaner's not going to help me, but I could install it, which is pretty cool. We're going to hack this mine instead. So the mine also has a single defense point, so it's going to flip 1. And then we will have Gingerhead running. We have Vector already up, so that's going to be +3, so makes it 5 total. And only costs us 2, so 5. And we're going to spend 2 more for 6, 7. Just throw 2 system resources into this to try and give us a bonus. 7, and they flip a, well, they got a defensive program with a strength of 6. Oh, so let's see what our can-do flip is. This is pretty relevant. For me, it's going to be a 3, and then a 2. but they can't pay the adrenaline to do this. So 2 plus 6 is 8. 7 is 10 for me, so I successfully hacked this mine and it detonates. If I'd wanted to pay an additional 1, I could have tag teamed on. I might as well just for demonstration purposes pay an additional 1 here to tag team this in, which means I can install it for free afterwards, which will give me 2 extra system resources. It doesn't cost anything to run, which is crazy, just a booster algorithm. Now I can also spend 2 more, or I could install this thing instead, Gingerhead, because it can stay. It's +1 strength versus any tactical defensive programs, and +3 alarm tokens in any location. I'm tempted, because if I place alarm tokens, I could actually draw them back. But no, we'll keep this out for now. That's just going to stay. Now at this point, things get a little bit confusing, as the rulebook has me reference a card for when they succeed, as described on this card. There's no cards in this box for mines. There's also no cards in the Kickstarter box for mines. So until there's some clarifications, it's a super new game. I'm just going to assume that it kills these two, because it's a mine, it's detonated, they immediately respawn over here, and I've had my one chance basically to stop them at that door. The reason I'm pretty like sure that's what would happen is each of these guys only has 1 damage point when they're Opfor, and yeah, a mine going off is going to do probably more damage than any of their damage locations can take. And so that means we just move on to the real world phase of this game. Hopefully that'll get clarified, or some cards will come out, or even just an FAQ as the game sort of like matures. Well, we're gonna have a U-Bolt, I guess, try and do this again, and she's gonna activate the Tenkin. And it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then second scale, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 down to here. Opfor Phase, start with the Black Site Agent. 1, 2, 3. Opens the door for free, and then has a second move, but can't currently see the, can only see through these 2 squares right here, can't currently draw line of sight to the Tenkin. So he's gonna move again, and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's time for the Black Site Officer to go, or sorry, the Tactical Officer. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, get line of fire to my little robot, and he's gonna die, or take a shot. Model takes an action, the opposing model gets to declare a reaction. Now it can declare a number of different reactions, such as dive for cover, which would allow it to move towards like the nearest out of line of sight block, basically. Or it can attempt to do a fast attack, which would be to shoot back, or dodge. Now once it's done a reaction, you place the reaction token next to it, and the only further reactions it can do that turn are going to be dodge. So you get your choice for the first one, basically, and after that you have to try and just get out of the way, basically. When you dodge, you make an opposed test at physical. So for the tank, and that's 4. +3, when you do a reaction fire, you're at physical -3, plus and minus any bonuses you have here. So the Nakamura chain gun is effective 0 to 12. Now the Tenkin has a special rule called point blank fire control. It uses its main weapon in close combat. And ignores all attack modifiers from its advanced thermal optics. So while Mr. Gunn here, the Stressmeyer, is going to suffer the attack penalty for this room, which means it's additional difficulty basically to try and shoot through it, my advanced thermal optics mean I do not. In this case, it's probably best for the Tenkin to try and dodge, as its physical stat is not fantastic, so shooting back at -3 is probably a terrible idea. So instead of trying to you know, just try and shoot back, we'll make a dodge action. So it's physical, +3, plus any neurochip, something like that, which we don't have, so I have a score of 7, versus the physical of the Black Site Agent, which is, or sorry, the Tag Team Officer, which is 6. Now the gun, he has the Stressmeyer SG3, is damage 6 at 0 to 8, so within 0 to 8 squares, and then selective fire, +1 range attack or no negative modifiers when performing the fast attack reaction. That's awesome. So selective fire is a very cool skill. In this case, he has +1 range attacks. So 6 is going to become 7 as well. So it's 7 to 7, which means now we both flip a can-do. So this will be for the Tenkin. There's a 6 for the other one, a 7. So you could treat it as a 3 and add system resources if you wanted to. But unfortunately, in this case, he's been hit by the TAC team officer, or by the tactical officer. So a result of 7 means a location of 7 on the Tenkin. And that's the body, which is armor 4. Now the Stressmeyer is damage 6 in this case. So armor 4, damage 6, 2 points of damage. He will take 2 and go 2 left. Just use U-Bolt's handy wheel here as she's currently piloting that thing. Second action, so he's all done too. So we're into the cleanup phase, doors close. This goes away. And it's cyber warfare time. In the network, so we generate some system resources. Again, 3 characters with a mental bonus of +3 as well as 6. 7, 8 for this new program I'm running. And then, yeah, so 6, 7, 8. And we have to spend 1 to run that one. So we're down to 7. Done with these cards again, because they're no good for anybody. And these can-dos can go away as well. And we're going to attempt to summon another tank in here. So let's see what my hand looks like for this turn. Oh, we got all kinds of sweet attack programs. I'm into it. Oh, we got a sniffer card too, so we can see our opponent's hand. Ooh, +5 system reverses. A dummy card. And +3 remaining program strength. That one's cool too. Let's hack this terminal and jump on another tank in. So terminal strength is 1, so 1 card for the Opfor. And then we're going to run, I guess, Logan for 4, which will leave us with 3 system resources left. 4, +1 strength versus technical network ice. We don't have any right now, unless this is an ice card. Deactivate 1 enemy cyber gear of your choice. We don't have any cyber gear opposing us. So we're +3, so 7 total. And let's see what the card is for the Opfor. Oof, 6. Weakens my attack strength by 1, so I go to 6 as well. I could have paid to see that, which is what I'm going to do, actually. I'll pay 1 to see that card by using my sniffer card, which leaves me 2 system resources. And we'll use that to install this sucker right here for +3 program strength. And so we go to 0 resources left in the pool, but we're at total of 7, 10, goes back to 9 because of this one versus 6. And let's see what the flip is. So flipping for myself, it will be a 6, or sorry, a 9 rather. And we could also draw an adrenaline card and draw another card. Let's see what the opponent got. A 7. So a total of 13 right now to my 18. Do we want to draw an adrenaline card? We're just going to keep it. We're going to spawn the Tanko. We're not going to draw any adrenaline right now. These go away. We'll install this one as well into the tactical network, because we might as well for all the program strengths. And we spawn another Tankin on the spawn point. We'll put this one right here, I guess. It means we have a sweet Tankin now, also being controlled by Bombshell. Just get right to that and start the shooting time. So we're going to start with Bombshells, actually, and we're going to move and go 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. And actually might as well shoot with our sweet, sweet Nakamura chain gun, which is damage 7 up to 12 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're in range. Suffers no penalty to react fire back, so he's going to shoot back at me for his first action. I place a reaction now, though, so all he can do after this is dodge. And that means he's shooting me at physical 6. And I'm shooting him at physical... I don't think there's any bonuses to attack with the Nakamura chain gun. No, just +2, so physical 6 as well. So we're both physical 6. An intelligent weapon. I'm actually going to be 7, though, because I gain the attack bonus here because of my goggles, and he does not. So 7 to 6 overall. Flip for... Actually, I don't know if it's a penalty to him or a bonus to me, but it washed it the same either way. So 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 6 is 13. Treat the result as 2 and add any system resources to your pool. I fail, and that means I get shot in the 7. Reaction fire hit me. Now 7. The damage on the stress mire is... within 8 is going to be 6. So again, it's 2 damage, and he also goes in 2 damage. It's just time to start shooting. So now it's over to U-bolts, little tankin'. And we're going to start chain gunning this guy at point blank range, because why not? We can use it in close combat because of our special skill. It's +2 to hit, so physical 6. This little fella's physical 5, and no bonus for his handgun. His goggles. So physical 5. We're going to add my flip first. So 10 to 5. Oof, 9. He hits back. Now the damage on his pistol is 5 at 0. And it's going to hit in the 9, so 1 more point of damage. This thing's got 1 damage point left. And we'll try and shoot again. Well, let's see what we can do. So it's the exact same shooting. It's going to be 10 to 12. It's the fight in this black stage and blows up the drone. Well, that's not good. So we're on to the Opfor phase, and there's very little we can do here. So this guy's going to move and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and grab the first objective. Black Site Agent and the TAC Team Officer make for a well-oiled pair, capable of achieving the objective regardless of the danger, wounds, or losses. Despite Len.Con or Guardian's fierce resistance, the TAC Team Officer reaches the elevator, his armor protecting him from the fatal injuries. Unluckily for him, Len.Con boasted much better field experience and foresaw such an eventuality. As the elevator came to a halt, a deadly EMP went off. A special kind of gas grenade that projects an electromagnetic pulse before releasing the poison, lethal not only to living organisms, but support systems as well. So Black Site Agent and TAC Team Officer claim one of the objectives. The TAC Team Officer in the elevator dies, and the other is deployed in their starting space. The game resumes as normal once the Opfor collects the objective 2, read subsection 2. So he dies basically when this goes off. And this teleports over here. This fella's gonna go, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and grab this one. Despite their predecessor having vanished without a trace, the operation was on. Another officer, much more hardened than the last, kept alert as he neared the elevator. But the sight that came on horrified him. Detaching his mind from reality for a second, he lost contact with the unit. Gritting his teeth, he pushed the button. With the number on the floor, Len.co was reported to have been seen last. He fixed the grip of his weapon, adjusted the scope, checked the ammunition, and when the elevator let him know, with a loud ring that his destination was reached, an explosion boomed out. The last of his strength, he dragged the corpse of his colleague out of the fire. The officer called for help, and then once more, and one final time just before passing out. The Opfor completes the second objective, remove the objective token, remove the exit A token from the board, preventing the use of the elevator. The TAC team officer in the elevator dies. The 4 TAC team officers appear in exit B. Should one of them die, another one's immediately deployed in exit B. All doors are open. The player controlling the drones switch back to their original characters. The Opfor forces always move towards the room at the T-terminal. Once at least one officer passes into the room, reads subsection 3. The elevator arrives basically on our level now that they've all been warned, and we gotta fight our way out until they get into this room. Opfor Phase, we're once again gonna generate a grand total of 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2. So that's gonna, no sorry, 3 plus 3 plus 2 is 8 system resources. But we can't do very much right now because we can't really attack these guys with any type of cyber warfare attacks because they've just dudes with guns, and the drones can no longer use the elevator to come help us. It's all going to be down to U-bolt and bombshell. Let's do it. We're just going to open the door, whoop, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and start shooting. Bombshell's pretty great. The close combat attack, I have disarm for gun disarming for bombshell, which means this fella can't use his stress mire in close combat. Not that I think he could. Well, no, you can use it 0, so you could use it. Which means he's just going to get the normal reaction for it if he wants to attack or dodge. Try and bare knuckle attack, because why not? And let's see what we can do. Last attack me, his fizz is -3, so he goes to fizz 3. His gun gives him no bonus because of gun disarm, and not that he's using a pistol anyway. And then it's fizz 6. Her Makamura Hotoke can cause some stuns and stuff, but doesn't really do anything otherwise. And that's her. 6 against fizz 3, flipping for bombshell. She gets a 7, which puts her at 13 to 5. System resources, so that's going to be a damage 5 hit to the 7, which for this fella is armor 5. He takes no damage. Successful hit. We can draw a can-do card. On a result of 1 to 4, the target's stunned. It's a 5, so no stun. Punched him, but nothing else. And then it's Bombshell's turn. Sorry, U-Bolt's turn. The Archer AR-15. She's just gonna step forward and go 1, 2, 3. Use the Archer AR-15 rapid reload skill for attacking twice with a -2 damage to each range attack. Make him damage 5, so if we hit him not in the chest, we could kill them. And you know what? They immediately respawn, so there's really no point. Let's just try and kill one. So she is physical rather. She's not tanking anymore. Of 6, giving her a +1 bonus. And sorry, actually, I was a +1 here as well, because I have a +1 most of my attacks on top of my stat. So she's 6 + 1 is 7. There is attack 1 in here, though, so it goes back down by 1. She would have suffered that as well, but her flip was big enough it didn't matter. So let's see what she gets. She gets a 7. Goes to 12. Sorry, goes back down to 11 because of the... Or sorry, 7 goes to 13, goes back down to 12 because of the attack in the room. And then the target gets an 8, and he's reaction firing back with no penalty, so that's going to be 8, 14. She's going to actually take the damage. She is... got a total of 6 health. And she took a damage from a... where is it? Stress Mire, which is damage 6. She took it to the 8, which for her is... the body, so she can take 2 points of damage and go to 4. Been shot. All right, well, they're both done now, so it's Opfor. Start with the guy that just got shot. He'd react with a shot as well, but he can shoot right now. Might as well reaction fire back as well, and see if she can't kill those guys. So she's got a physical of 6, 7 with the bonus. He also has a physical of 6, 7 with the bonus, and his gun gives him +1, so 8. 8 for the officer, so we'll do U-Bolt first. 5 + 7 is 12. Sorry, actually -3. So 5 + 4 is 11. To much more than that. So she's gonna get hit in the 5 this time at damage 6. 5 location is the arm, so 3 more damage, goes down to 1. He shoots again. She can only dodge now at fizz +3. +4 overall because of her natural bonus. So +4 to dodge. She gets a 10, so that's going to be 17 total. And then he gets a 6, which is not enough. She's already reacted. She can actually do the dive for cover skill anyway. Dodge is actually on her speed skill, which is 5, so she flipped a total of 15. He's shooting, so he did flip a total of 6, 12, 13, down to 12 again because of the attack penalty for the room. So she gets to make the dive for cover move. He gets to move a square away, and that's him done. Next closest guy is gonna, I guess, just double attack into Bombshell. Doing a barehanded attack because he doesn't have any kind of melee weapon, and his stress miner can't be used in close combat, I don't believe. Oh no, it can, never mind. It's assault rifle / close combat weapon. It's not a ranged attack though, it's a melee attack, so it's just straight up hitting. Physical 6+6. She'll try and close combat him back, because why wouldn't she? She's now reacted, although that's not the right number or thing. There we go, that's got the right back to it. And so she's gonna get her close combat stat to reaction strike, so she's Phys 6 -3 is 3 +1 because of her normal bonuses. And then he's going to be 6 plus nothing. No, 6 plus 1 is 7. So 7 to 4. So he gets, or she gets a 4 plus 8 is 12. He gets a 7 plus 5 is 12. Nice, nothing happens. He tries again. All she can do now is dodge. So she'll be speed +3, which will give her an 8 to his close combat version, which is 6, 7. So 8, 14 to 7. So she's fine. That's going to be 9. Friendly models don't block line of sight, so the next tact officer is just going to start shooting, I guess, into the closest target it can see, which will be Bombshell. So Bombshell is going to try and dodge, because all she can do, she has a reaction marker on her now. And that fella's got a physical of 6, goes to 7 with the bonus, 8 with the gun. She's speed 5, plus 3 is 8 as well. 8, first one for Bombshell. Uh-oh, that's only a 9. And that's more. So she's going to hit in the 1. With damage stress miner, which is 6. So 1 to 6, that's going to be 2 points of damage. She goes into 3 left. He does it again. So it's the same thing. Dodge is speed +3, so a total of 8 to his physical 6, 7 for the bonus to physical, 8 for the gun. So 8 to 8. Oops, that should be on there. 16 for Bombshell. 13. She dodges it again. And the last one. Alright, line of sight. Just keep shooting her, I guess. It's the exact same thing. 8 to 8. She's going to keep dodging. 8. She gets a 1, so it goes to 9. And then he gets a 4. So that's going to be a total of 12. So it hits her in the 4. Location 4 is the legs. 3 points of damage. She is knocked out. Blam! Gunned down by officers. Cleanup phase. So all these come off, and we go to a new cyber warfare round. With this door closing. 2 characters with a mental bonus of +3, so it's going to be 5, 6, 7 from this, and it will cost 1, 2, 1 actually, because this one costs 1 less because of that fella. She's all jacked in, so we can't do anything in the real world, unfortunately. Let's get right to the real world phase, and I guess we just try and kill everybody. We'll take some shots here, and it's going to be, we'll use the archery AR-15. If we do, it's only damage 5, which means we're very unlikely to hit anybody with the rapid reloads. We're just going to shoot once into the front guy. He is physical 6, 7 with the bonus, no bonus for the gun. And I guess he'll just try and reaction fire with his gun, which doesn't suffer any penalties to reaction firing. So he'll be physical 6. So 7 for U-Bolt, goes to 11. 6 goes to 8. Hitting the 4 for damage 7, which will be more than enough to kill him. It's one hit point. Blam. Should we go again and just try and plug the next one? Same exact process. She is going to be physical 6, +1 for a bonus, goes to 7, and then he'll be physical 6 with no reaction fire penalty because he's shooting his stress miner, which is great. So 7 plus 9 is 16, 6 plus 10 is 16, they tie. She didn't lose at least. And that's going to be it. No drawing or adrenaline here. Oh, she did get to draw an adrenaline card because she killed a guy. She gets adrenaline point. Under stress and tension, you can change the result of the can-do value card by the value of this card. Oh, sweet. So she'll actually spend that to make it a 17. Put that in the discard for these, and she'll actually hit him. She'll hit him in the 10, 9. And the 9 for him is armor 5, but she's damage 7, which means she kills him. Blam. She gets to draw another adrenaline card. Sweet, we're actually killing things. 2 adrenaline, kick the door down if you're adjacent to a locked door. Discard this one card to knock it down. She's completed her activation though, and that means these guys will immediately respawn. End phase they respawn, and then come after her. So this fella's gonna just start shooting her. Range attack 6, 7 for the physical bonus, 8 for the gun, but back down to 7 because of the attack bonus here. She'll try to dive for cover. Oh, she'll try and shoot back. She'll try and shoot back, actually. Why not? She's got range of 6, physical of 6 goes to 7 for the bonus, minus 3 is 4. It'll be 7, so 4 to 7. So for U-Bolt, she gets a 7 to 13. She's going to take damage to the 6. She has 1 hit point left, so location 6 is her arms. It's damage 6, she just dies. Let's go, this guy's gonna move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he's gonna move. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and then open the door. We haven't entered the room yet. With her defenders down, things are looking pretty grim. Door closes in the end phase. These two fellas respawn. And we go to a new round. Nothing to do in the cyber warfare. She can't move or shoot, so just the door opens. And these guys all come piling in. The exultation upon tearing down the security walls of fellow mechanic bank accounts. The excitement upon the first transfer. The mounting greediness as her successive millions are magically transferred to her accounts. Trepidation that it isn't going smoothly. That it took far too long. That she can't stop. Dread as her so far inviolable barrier melted down before. And the might of a corporate virus. Regret, for she knew that many other assisting her would be busted. Others who placed trust in her skills, who placed trust in her. Then resignation set in. When the assault team arrived at her floor and blew open the door of the rented apartment, she could hardly move a muscle, the virus keeping her in a tight clutch. They turned up so quickly, nobody's that good, even they, unless it was a trap from the start. A splitting headache and audible low-pitched noise disturbed her thoughts completely. She felt as though she was in free fall, as though someone stunned her with a blunt object and then threw her at a flying plane. Lendaka suddenly came to, her soul dropping back into her body. The pain largely subsided. She looked around, but there was only silence and familiar hallways. Just another recollection, a cybernetic dream that fused her past and present. She could be certain of no thoughts other than that she was losing control. So there we go, the first 2 missions of Human Interface, the Cyberpunk board game, Nakamura Tower, that end with Lendaka basically realizing she's in a simulation, and then flashing back to how she got caught, breaking into a giant cyber bank, basically, and being overrun, U-Bolt and Bombshell being overrun, her being taken into custody. So we're going to do one more mission in the solo cooperative campaign mode, which you'll see in 2 weeks. But right now I just want to kind of give an overview of my thoughts about the game so far. So, component quality is good. The boards are, nice and flat. They haven't done any warping so far in the box. The models themselves required fairly minimal cleaning. They had the usual, I'd say it's like B+ board game plastic. The usual flash and mold lines need to be cleaned off. But for the most part, any bendy bases and warping was pretty easy to deal with. And if you've been doing any of these board game Kickstarters that are using PVC miniatures, it's pretty much situation normal. I haven't had any problems with them so far. As far as gameplay in the rulebook, the solo campaign seems fun. I've enjoyed the narrative parts of it. I really like that there are callouts to stop and read text. It reminds me a bit of the old Choose Your Own Adventure Fighting Fantasy books or Silver Tower from Warhammer Quest from Games Workshop, and gives you sort of like an unraveling, unlocking story. It's a nice gimmick. The gameplay itself is fairly intuitive once you get to know it. The rulebook is actually pretty well laid out. I will say, however, there is clearly a bit of a rush been put on the editing and the translation of the rules from the original language, and you can tell. Now, if you've played a lot of miniature war games, this isn't actually a big deal because for the most part, the rules themselves are fairly clear. It's just awkward language and structure that kind of it sticks in your head or sticks in your mouth when you're saying it out loud. It's no worse than, let's say, First Edition Infinity or 3.5 Confrontation. It's just if you're willing to take the time, make the effort to just read the awkward language, and you kind of have to read a sentence 2 or 3 times sometimes. It is a sentence that makes sense. It's just not like well put together because of the translation. I think it's fine. The gameplay is very functional. I am excited, and that you'll see almost like a second part of this Let's Play after I do Mission 3, because that's where the campaign branches in the story campaign, where I'm going to play the Skirmish Mode. Because I think the Skirmish Mode has a lot of potential where you're just crew building and playing like a deathmatch. There's 2 crews in here, the Black Site plus the Borg Squad, and then the Kickstarter edition, which I have, has a bunch more models for both the Borg Squad and the Black Site that you can unlock and play. There's also a Skirmish booklet of tons of extra missions, and we're going to explore that further in almost like a Let's Play 1.5. where I do the other half of how to play this game. But because most people, I think, bought this game as a board game, either cooperative or for solo play, I think that this was the primary focus of my Let's Play and what I want to show you today. The skirmish stuff, I think, is going to be a lot of fun and is more of like a competitive board game. As far as mechanics go, the can-do deck is a pretty standard, almost Malifaux style Fate deck, flipping mechanic. The cyber warfare stuff, it's all using the same resolution system. It's just opposed deck flipping. I do wish you got 2 decks instead of 1. I do think having to draw from the same deck means that hot cards get pulled early and they get pulled by somebody. You know that hot card's not in there until you recycle the deck and reshuffle it. So I do wish it was 2 opposed decks instead of 1, much like the cyber warfare decks are uniquely created for squads. So like the Borg squad has one and the Black Slate has one. I think that would have just added a little more balance to the flips, as they can get out of control pretty fast. The 2 action sequence is pretty standard for board game stuff like this, and felt, I mean, it was intuitive, it was fast to play. Once I read the rulebook, I think once and played a mission, the actual like core mechanics of the game, they fell into place pretty quickly. So yeah, so I think if you're gonna buy this as a box of models, you're getting a fun solo campaign to play with as well. And like I said, it's funny because I think a lot of these big board game Kickstarters get put together as like the sweetener is this huge box of toy soldiers. And if that's what you're buying it as, you're not gonna be disappointed. If you're just wanting to buy a whole bunch of Cyberpunk miniatures, it's great. I think the game's got some legs and it's gonna be fun too. I'm excited to play the skirmish mode, and you'll see the next chapter, mission 3 from this rulebook. The 1 and 2 are supposed to be tutorial mission played together, and then 3 is sort of like a full gameplay style mission. With some units and stuff too. So you'll see that in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, you'll see my 1.5 Let's Play for the skirmish mode of the game too. But I need another person to do that. I need 2 people to play that, to play that set. And it gives you some more time to paint some stuff too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play, taking a look at Human Interface, the Cyberpunk board game, Nakamura Tower, the starter set. Yeah, and big thanks for the lot of you that kind of sat through this and watched it and listened to me ramble my thoughts at the end. So we'll see you next time for more of this. Till then, I'm Ash. Have a good night. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.